What's your opinion about the influences of important wine critics on winemaking itself throughout the last 20 years, more or less?
Well, I think that critics or commentators who encourage good winemaking by pointing out why it's good and how it's done, what it tastes like, they're essential for the wine industry, just as good wine merchants are. But some critics, some American critics, and we all know who I'm talking about, have got out of hand. I mean, they've created well, he has created the 100-point system. Okay, I'll name him, Robert Parker Jr. And the 100-point system is pure folly. You cannot mark beauty by percentage points. There's no way. Personal opinion is far too important. In fact, it's vital to the real enjoyment of wine. There is no absolute. Absolutely not. It's caught up with personality, it's caught up with entertainment, it's caught up with personal taste, it's caught up with food and circumstances and time and friends and the general enjoyment of life. You can't mark it out of 100. It may be because personally I am pretty much innumerate, but I just don't see what it means. And if somebody asks me to score a wine out of 100 or even 20, I say, sorry, I'll tell you whether I like it, but I can't give it a number.
Okay, let's change the subject a little. How do you like the Austrian Blaufränkisch variety? You say variety, is that true?
Well, yes, you do. You say wine. I mean, it did. I could do with another glass, really. I have to improve my acquaintance with it. Ha ha. He asked the right question and I gave the right answer. I have to improve my acquaintance with it because I don't see it very often. We don't have much of it at home in England. I don't come to Austria long enough. So, I mean, I've seen lovely examples and I've seen different styles emerging. And I've seen the use of barrique for it, which can be overdone, but then barriques can be overdone with any wine anywhere. Yes, it's a very expressive wine, which is fresh and rich at the same time. I could do with less oak in this particular example. Yeah. But what do I think of it? I'm very happy with it. I think if anyone thinks that red wines are stuck with the world famous varieties, Cabernet, Merlot, and so on, then they should taste something indigenous like this.
Okay. What do you think are the greatest errors or failures in vinification concerning the choice of growing areas or technical elaboration you have come across in the recent years?
Well, I don't want to condemn people's efforts and say you planted it in the wrong place. I think many of the old vineyards of the old world are actually in the wrong place, or not in the ideal place. I can think of a lot of German wine, for example, which shouldn't really be growing. You know, they give up the wonderful hill vineyards to plant in flat places because it's easier. The same thing happened in Hungary, in Tokai, which I know well. The trouble is that the best wine grows in the difficult places, and whether that's going to pay for the effort is always a difficult question. You can see complete blunders, as in Australia, where a lot of people got on a bandwagon of tax dodging by planting vineyards. I mean, a lot of people who knew nothing about wine, didn't care about wine, just planted thousands and thousands of hectares of vines in order not to pay tax. And now they're complaining because they can't sell the product. Well, I'm afraid I have no sympathy.
Do you think biodynamical wine, is it possibly better than, let's say, ordinary wine?
Well, I think anybody who takes the trouble of using biodynamic principles, and it's a lot harder work to make wine with a biodynamic or even organic scheme than just what you might call ordinary product. Anyone who's into it to that degree is likely to make better wine anyway, because clearly they're in the vineyard the whole time, they're thinking about it, they're caring about it, and they're expecting a return. Of course they can go wrong, but I would always taste wine that came from that kind of enthusiast, and I would expect to enjoy it.